Hey, we are talking on the topic of anger, though, and if we're honest, we've all been there and perhaps been surprised at how quickly we go from calm, reasonable individual to rage monster, right?
I sometimes think, who was that? Oh, it was me. It is a transformative thing. And the thing I learned years ago is that, for me, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
If I got angry at my kids, very seldom did they ever come back to me afterwards and say, thank you very much for that telling off, Dad. That was just what we needed to see the light and straighten up our act. And no, it just stinks up the atmosphere and probably brings their anger out, and it doesn't push things forward.
Yeah.
I was listening to an angry man angry about something political yesterday, and then he moved on to his solutions, and they were all angry solutions that wouldn't work, that wouldn't advance things. I mean, and I'm afraid anger in families and politics and international relationships, it doesn't work.
It is a common thing, however, and some people would say, oh, well, I just can't help it. That's just the way I am. You make me so angry, and all these other excuses. But, I mean, we don't have to, yes, we can't always avoid reacting and responding to circumstances, but we can decide what we do with that, how we process it.
That's right. Maybe you can't help it, because for some people it's their major life challenge.
Yeah.
It's going to be a thing that's going to be their stone in their shoe. But some insights into it help you understand. I got some insights into pain. Pain doesn't exist in the real world. It exists only in yourself.
Yeah.
When you feel pain when you touch something hot, it's actually, no, it's not telling you the temperature. It's just telling you something that your body is doing. And the same with anger. Anger doesn't add any information to the situation. If you're sitting in a meeting and you start to feel angry, it's not telling you anything extra about the information.
Is it a defense mechanism in some way?
It's usually related to fear and threat.
Yeah, you say, hey, I feel angry, I don't like feeling like this, I'm going to avoid situations that might cause me to feel this way?
Yeah, I think very much so. And so when you think of it as just being an emotion, and emotions don't always tell you the truth, you can start to walk around your anger. You may not be able to get rid of it immediately, but when you start to recognize whatever it is in you that feels like anger, and the scariest thing for me is when I feel that chill, deadly certainty in my head. Then I think that's actually anger, and what I have to do is slap a danger sticker on it. Danger, danger. And then I often have to do something physical, not to the person I'm angry with, fortunately, but to myself. Take a walk, take a pause, do some breathing, do a relaxation, just start to coach myself. And one of the things I coach myself with is, John, you're getting better at this. You can handle this. You're not
You don't have to be an angry old man. Being an old man, that comes without choice, but you don't have to be angry with it.
No.
I suppose when some people get angry, there is that urge, and it can take us to some dark places to want to lash out, to want to abuse, to want to be physical or violent towards people. But we don't have to respond that way. Some people would say, it's just bottling up inside of me. I've got to vent. I've got to release this.
Venting isn't necessary. Some people think of it as almost like a hydraulic force.
Oh, yeah.
That you got to open a valve here and punch a pillow or tear a magazine and I've heard people recommend that for angry kids, to do things like this. In actual fact, anger can be neutralized almost instantly with a story.
Oh.
Now, if you're driving in traffic and all of a sudden this crazy driver swoops across in front of you, and your instant reaction, because you got a fright, is anger.
Yeah.
And then you see the guy slumping over a steering wheel and you pull over and he's having a heart attack. Where's all your anger gone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, you think, he got his just desserts. No, you don't think that at all. You're at a restaurant and they sit you at the table and they don't take your order for half an hour and you're getting angry, and then the owner comes out and says, I'm sorry, we had a guy burn himself in the kitchen, had to take him at A&E, your meal's on the house. Where's your anger gone?
Yeah.
Instantly changed by a story. And so can I urge you to tell yourself stories to explain the situations. Why is that person driving slowly? Maybe they're having an anxiety attack and they're anxious, or they're a new driver or something. Why are my kids acting like this? Maybe they're under incredible stress. Maybe they've broken up with a friend. maybe there's things going on that I don't understand. Telling yourself stories and asking yourself for a wider picture.
Giving some people some grace.
Yeah, grace and just trying to explain things, because it really is deadly in relationships. When I was working with families, I came across this several times, and that would be parents who had no longer any contact with their adult children and therefore their grandchildren. Mm-hmm. And the stories usually weren't that deep. The story wasn't very mysterious. It was usually a grumpy dad. If you don't like it, you can pack your bags and get out of here. Now, you say that to an 8-year-old and they can't, but they start packing. Yeah. They start packing in their head. Mm-hmm. And when they're old enough, they're off and out, and you're lucky if you hear from them again. Yeah. So anger, you do yourself, your family, the world a huge benefit if you get on top of it, and you can.
I mean, that's the hope, I suppose, in this, because I know there'll be people listening at the moment who are saying, you know what, that's a real struggle with me. And I've heard it from people that I care about, that just sometimes it seems like I'm out of control. I get angry. I make poor choices. I say things I regret. But what you're saying, the hope in this is that it doesn't have to be that way. Yes, maybe get some support for it, but you can make some changes in your own life.
That's right. One of the final things is that we justify our anger. We think of it as being it was worth it. It achieved something. It was righteous anger. I had justice on my side. And I think that you just need to rework it through and think, was there a better way of handling that? And often you need to apologize, set things right, go back and fix it. And all this applies to the anger you have for yourself. I'm probably so angry at myself at times. I'm still beating myself up for a dumb thing I said in the sixth form back in the 1970s. And and sometimes I've just got to do the same thing that I do when I'm angry to other people. There is a good reason for that. I said that dumb thing back then because I was stupid, but I'm perhaps not quite so stupid now. Oh, maybe I am. But extend that grace to yourself as well.
So important. Hey, John, thank you for sharing the wisdom, for joining us in the Rhema studio today. Thanks for your time.
An absolute pleasure. We'll see you, Andrew.
Hey, thanks very much for joining us in the Rhema studio. Thanks very much for watching the interview. It's kind of nice to have an audience, actually. And if you did like what you watched, then do give us a like, do give us the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more interviews like that one, or perhaps even better, subscribe and those interviews will come straight to you. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.